everybody, this is John from PhoneDog.com, and I'm excited today because I got something in the mail. If you watched my Snaptel and Shazam review, you might have noticed a little hint at the end there that Wireless Ground was going to be sending me something that had to do with the G1's power. Well, today I got it, and it is a 2400 mAh Mugen power battery. I think I'm saying that right. The G1 stock battery is, I think, 1100 mAh. I'll put corrections at the bottom of the screen here if I'm wrong. And I'm not too sure on the tech and what that terminology means, how the measurements work. Is this actually a little more than double the charge capacity of the G1 stock battery? I don't know, but I can tell you it's double the size. You can see there, the stock battery 1100 mAh, new one 2400 mAh, and in order to accommodate that new battery, they had to increase the size of the rear cover. So you can see that that's nearly double the size. So let's just take a look real quick at the G1 with the bigger battery inside. And as you can see, the phone is substantially thicker than it was with the stock battery and back cover. But honestly, I'm willing to deal with it if it means being able to leave my GPS on all the time and not worry about not being able to make a phone call. A neat thing about this case is that there's a cone that goes in and meets around the edge of the camera lens there, so it's protected from getting dust or whatever inside the phone. So that's kind of neat that they did that. I'm going to follow the instructions on the box here that says always charge the new battery for at least 12 hours before use, and it says battery should be initially charged and discharged 3 to 5 times to achieve the stated capacity. Some of you might remember that I wrote a blog post about getting the most out of your G1's battery, and T-Mobile, when I was researching that, told me to drain the battery all the way down until it won't turn on anymore, then charge it and leave it plugged in for at least 2 hours after the charging light turns green. So I'll be doing the same thing with this one at least 3 to 5 times. I'll go 5 to make sure we're getting maximum battery life before I even start doing experiments with this thing. So I'll get back to you when I can. Well, here we are, 13 days after I made the first segment of this video, and I have a lot to say about my super extended battery. At first I was a little bummed out because Wireless Ground initially sent me a windshield mountable hands-free and charging kit for the G1, which I was really excited about because primarily I wanted to do a review of the Telenav wireless turn-by-turn GPS navigation system. Unfortunately, that demo unit is defective, which can happen with demo units. They get sent around quite a bit. So the contact at Wireless Ground asked me if there was anything else I wanted to review, and I said, I want to check out one of those new extended batteries. A lot of stores were showing these on their websites when they didn't have them available, trying to set up some kind of pre-order without really telling people. So I was a little skeptical about whether they had them or not, even though a few have been reported out there. So I was sent the 2400 mAh super extended battery. They have 2 available. They also have a 2300 mAh extended battery. For what I've seen at the website right now, the 2400 only comes with the bronze cover because it's required for the extended battery. The 2300 comes with the black cover. Now, I read up a little bit on the technology regarding batteries, and I'm not an electrician or anything like that. I'm not an electrical engineer, but I understand enough to know that this has a little bit more than twice the storage capacity of the stock 1150 mAh battery of the G1. And I know in the first segment of this video I said several times that it was 1100, it's 1150. But there's some other factors in there that I don't fully understand that affect how quickly the battery discharges, both in a natural state when it's not being used, just sitting it will discharge, and while it's being used. Now the reason I bring this up is because the 2300 mAh battery at Wireless Ground is only $29.95 or something like that, roughly $30, whereas the 2400 is $89.95, $90. So I thought, what could account for such a discrepancy if there's only a difference of 100 milliampere hours? And I think that probably that one is not going to be as impressive as the one I have here. I mean, the 2300 mAh one is not going to be as impressive as the 2400 mAh one. It was the end of the 12th day before I drained my 4th charge of this phone. And that's including the initial 12-hour charge. I was totally blown away that it took that long. I didn't have experienced just the double capacity that I should have, it drained at a much slower rate. There was nights when I left it on all night with the display on, playing albums over and over again just because I wanted to drain it to get to the point where I could finish this review. I had a hard time draining it, honestly. And now I also have the G1 stock battery as a backup, so I keep that in my wife's car up in the little pouch above the visor there, so I always have a backup. I left GPS on 24 hours a day, Wi-Fi I left on 24 hours a day, Bluetooth was just on and off whenever. I was on 3G the whole time, although even though it's sketchy in my apartment, sometimes I'm on 2G, but it was left on, so as soon as 3G was available, I was on it. I did all kinds of web surfing, market purchases, listening to music, watching videos, talking on the phone, sometimes for a couple hours at a time, and it took me this long to drain it to the fourth charge. So I can't speak to the 2300 mAh battery. There's most likely some other differences between the two. Otherwise there would not be a $60 difference in the price just for a measly 100 mAh. So I do not want this review to reflect the 2300 battery, which is $30. I'm only reviewing the 2400 mAh battery, which is $90. But if you got the bones to shell out for something like that, I cannot recommend enough Mugen Power 2400 mAh. It's worth it for me, having the fatter back here. And even though they only had bronze and I have a black G1, I actually think the two-tone look is kind of unique and cool looking. I don't know how well you can make that out. I'm going to grab my case real quick to show you that can still be used. At first I just assumed it wouldn't fit. It still does. Is it bigger in my pocket? Sure. But the additional features that I can use now make this feel like a different phone. And I'm going to be doing a review on locale, which requires a lot of GPS. You know, if you turn the GPS on the G1, it runs kind of in the background without drawing that much energy until an application requests data from it, and then it pulls GPS information, and that's where you get the big drain on your battery. Locale is one of those ones that should drain it quite a bit. So, you know, for somebody who wants to really exploit all of the features of the G1, I think an extended battery, or a super extended battery as these are called, is almost a necessity. It's the stock battery that came with G1 just doesn't allow it to live up to its potential, and this one does the trick. $90 though, so you know, I can only speak to the one that I use from Wireless Ground. Like I say, I think there's factors other than mAh that determine how quickly a battery drains. I can't speak to how long this is going to last, what the lifespan is like, how the charges will reduce the capacity over time. But strictly speaking, with the qualifiers of the 2400 mAh battery for a short-term testing, I'm totally blown away. Stay tuned to PhoneDog.com for all kinds of app reviews, cell phone reviews, industry news, everything like that. And also be sure to check out our OnePod Bandit. You can go to PhoneDog.com and click on Win. You get 5 spins a day at the website. You get another 5 at Facebook. And a lot of times you get bonus spins while you're playing, so that's fun. And it's free to play. And we give away iPod Touches, we give away an HTC Fuse. There's all kinds of cool stuff coming out there. So be sure to check it out. Take care.